Alright, hi, and welcome to my channel. My name is Casey Tarot, and today's reading is going to be all about what will your life be like 5 years from now. And to give you an idea of exactly what we're going to be covering, I'm going to be looking at what will your finances be like, where will you be on your career path, what will your house be like, slash where will you be living, because 5 years is a long time. Maybe you've moved to a new place. We're also going to be getting into what will your emotional slash spiritual fulfillment be like. Will you be personally fulfilled at this time in your life? And finally, what will your personal relationships, close relationships, family, friends, as well as your romance life be like in that time? So if you're interested in all that, go ahead and pause and figure out which reading you feel most drawn to. With pile 1 today, we have the Malachite. Pile 2, we have the Dendritic Agate. And pile 3, we have the black tourmaline. So, like I said, go ahead and pause, figure out which one you feel most drawn to. There will be timestamps in the description, so you can quickly jump to whichever reading that you want to listen to. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, pile 1. If you chose the Malachite, then this is going to be the reading for you. And as you can see, we have a lot of cards to get through today. So I understand, if you can't watch this all in one sitting, I don't know how long it's going to take. I'm going to try to get it through it pretty quickly. We've got a lot of cards to get through today. So if you didn't listen to the intro, basically what we're looking at here, this top row is all about, the material world for you for 5 years from now. Your finances, your career, and where you'll be living slash your home. Then the bottom row is all about emotions. So what is your close family and friendship relationships looking like? And then what is your romance life looking like? And finally, how emotionally or personally fulfilled will you be at this time? So we got a lot to get into, but we're going to start with the top row. Your finances and career 5 years from now are honestly looking really great, which I think is interesting because you have all green cards, and green has to do with money, and you were also drawn to the Malachite, which is a green stone. And so to me, I feel like that's a very auspicious sign. I've been using that word a lot lately. I really like it. That you will be doing really well financially 5 years from now. So let's get a little bit more in detail with it. So specifically your finances, you have the Movement card and the Emperor. And when I see the Movement card, to me, I'm almost imagining stocks. Me personally, literally just yesterday, I was getting really into learning more about high yield savings accounts, and I actually just opened one up. I've been investing a lot in my Roth IRA, which is my retirement account, and just putting money away for a rainy day. So I've really been on top of all that, and that is the kind of energy that your cards have here. The Emperor is somebody that has everything under control. They think very clearly, they see the big picture. And to me, if I had to say what that means for your finances, you're definitely in control, moving things around, letting things grow while also building up savings. So handling your finances very responsibly, having things very under control, and the Movement card being green and moving upwards makes me think things steadily increasing. So maybe you're the kind of person that you want to have multiple streams of income, whether that's through stocks, or maybe you have side hustles, or maybe investment properties. Whatever it is, it's you're watching that grow. 5 years from now, you're going to be very all about that fiscal growth. So it seems very positive when we look at your finances. So 5 years from now, doing great on that. And it could be because of whatever you're starting right now. Like me, for instance, the high yield savings account, the Roth IRA, that's all building towards my future. So whatever you start right now is already building you towards that future. Now what we see with your career, also looking really, really great. You have the Balance card clarified by the Nine of Cups. The Balance card also being green makes me think it's just very stable. Green is the color of the earth element, which is all about stability, and being the same color as your Movement card, which your finances look great. It all seems like your career slash finances doing really great 5 years from now. And specifically, the Balance card makes me think that not only are you bringing in the money, but you have a proper work-life balance. And with the Nine of Cups, it's everything's going up for you. You're feeling great. You're accomplishing what you're setting out to accomplish. You're feeling very productive, efficient. You're happy in your work life, but also you still have that proper balance of you're not you're not living to work. You're just working to live, You're not a slave to needing to make money. It's I go here for my 9 to 5, or, I do what I do, but then at the end of the day, I still have my home to go back to. I have my own life. Everything just feeling very balanced. So honestly, great. Looking very positive for you. And then looking at where you'll be physically living / what your home will be like 5 years from now. This is where we take an interesting turn. You have the death card, which I want you to know doesn't have to mean death. It doesn't mean anybody's dying. The death card often just symbolizes change, the end of something and the rebirth of something new. So if I had to look at this for your home life, it almost makes me think that you could be moving 5 years from now. Maybe leaving behind a home that you've had for a long time. Maybe you were really settled in, you had a great community where you were living, but for some reason or another, something pulled you to make a change. And it's like a bittersweet kind of thing. You're leaving behind everything that you've known, everything that you've cared about, this life that you've built for yourself. But it does seem like there was a good reason. It's like you had to make this decision, maybe, I'd say maybe for financial reasons, but your finances are looking good. So I don't know what is causing you to make this change. Maybe you just want to make a change in your life, or maybe you're moving for your career. But it's like a bittersweet kind of thing, moving always tends to be. And when I see the Five of Cups card, this card symbolizes loss. And so for you, I feel like emotionally you're going to be like a little sad, maybe even feeling physically lost because you're in a new area. But the bright side of this card is you see there's these overturned cups and you're kind of focusing on like, ugh, those cups are gone, they've fallen over. But what you don't see is right behind you, there's 2 cups waiting to be filled that are still upright. And so if I were to put that into words, it's like, man, it sucks that I'm leaving behind everything that I've ever known. I really loved living there. But it's like, if you just turn around, look towards the future, there's actually so much growth to happen. Like, it's a new chapter of your life. Yeah, it's sad that the previous chapter kind of ended, but there's so much to explore. There's so much adventure that you don't even know is waiting for you. So I feel like it's going to be a bittersweet ending, but you are going to have such a happy life at this place that you're moving to, wherever it may be. I don't see any specifics about what the place might look like, only that you're moving away. So you'll obviously know when the time comes, but when you're feeling in that moment, that kind of sad, like bittersweet, like, it's sad to move on from this place, allow yourself to look towards the future and be a little bit optimistic, because I do see so much positive growth happening for you after this move. So it's definitely something to look forward to. Now, finally, moving into the emotional side of things, we're going to start with your close relationships. So this is like friendships or family, and you have the Change card clarified by the Empress. Now, when you're at this time in your life, 5 years from now, I feel like you are going to be the kind of person that you are being very true to yourself, really embodying what makes you happy, doing the things that you love, not pretending to be someone you're not. And when you choose to do that, people that loved you for the person you pretended to be will fall away. People that loved it when you would bend over backwards for them and do things that were out of your comfort zone to make them happy, they're gonna fall away. So when I see the Change card, it's changed because it's getting rid of people that won't love you or stay there for you when you're being your authentic self. Those people are falling away, and it's making space for people that will love you at your most authentic self. I talk about this guy on my channel a lot, Leo Skeppy. He's a podcaster. He has a podcast called Aware and Aggravated, and he just did an in-person show, which me and my girlfriend were going to go to see it, and then something very traumatic happened, and like we were kind of in a daze. I couldn't really focus on the show. I don't want to get into it because it might trigger some people, but we left early. But one of the things that kind of stuck out to me, even though I can't really remember most of that night, is he was talking about, he had this like ball, and it was like a glowing ball. And he's like, when it was very dim and people are attracted to that, that's what they know. But when you're bright, when you're being your authentic self, that's the version of you that people want to manifest. Like, I want you to imagine when you're manifesting like a romantic partner, you're manifesting somebody that is confident, somebody that stands in their authenticity. You're not manifesting somebody who's a pushover or somebody who dims their light for others. You're manifesting the true bright glow. And when you decide that you want to stand in that true bright glow and be your authentic self, you are opening yourself up to the people that want to manifest you. So it's like an interesting way of looking at things. And also, like I said, people that were used to walking all over you or getting what they want, when you decide to stand up for yourself and say, I'm not going to take that anymore, those people fall away. And so you're going to get a lot of like is kind of a gross analogy, but like dead skin falling away, but it's like people that are just like, if you're not gonna bend over backwards for me and like put yourself out of your comfort zone and like lower your boundaries for me, then I'm gonna leave. And you're like, okay, then leave. Like you're very much standing in your power, very much Empress energy, where it's like, I do not chase, I attract. Standing in that, and like your relationships are going to be changing for the better. Now, something else that I see for you, this is for your romantic relationships. So we have the reflection card clarified by the Two of Pentacles. To me, when I first saw this card, I feel like it's very in alignment with your close friendships and relationships, where you're like, I'm standing in my authenticity, I'm not taking BS from people anymore, I'm not letting people walk all over me. And the same is going for your romantic relationships. In the cards, I do not see that you're with a specific person yet at this time, but what I do see is you are weighing lots of options. Like, I think that you have people around you that want to come forward, that want to pursue you, want to be in a relationship with you, but because you're holding yourself to a much higher standard, you're really building up your boundaries, you're finding out what you want out of relationships, it's actually making you take a pause. And instead of just automatically letting people in and being like, yeah, I'll take that, it's like, if it's not up to my standards, I don't want it. Which is actually another thing I got from the Leo Skeppy show is like, when you want to manifest a relationship, you can say no to the universe. You don't have to take the first thing that comes to you. You know, if you're like, I want them to be this height, I want them to look like this, I want them to be good with their finances, I want them to be career driven, I want them to be emotionally mature. If the universe gives you somebody that's like a half-baked potato and they're not really that great, you can say no. You can be like, that's not what I asked for. Like, thank you for bringing it to my attention, but that's not what I asked for. And when you decide to turn away from those things and make it clear that you are sticking by your standards, that's when the real thing will come in. That's when the good ones will come in. And so what I see for you 5 years from now is like, you have these half-baked potatoes that are kind of around, and like maybe the past version of you would have went for them. Maybe the past version of you would have settled. But this new version of you that is standing in your power and your authenticity and standing by your standards is like, that's not what I asked for. Like, no offense, they seem like an okay person, but I want great. I want amazing. And I really respect that. And so I see for you, maybe there's a period where you're not really in a relationship, but it's not for a lack of suitors. In fact, it's because you want to stand by your standards and you're like, I am waiting for perfection. I am keeping this spot next to me open for the perfect person. I'm not going to fill it with this half-baked potato. I'm waiting for the whole potato, you know, the whole roast, not just this like measly offering, which no offense to the people, whoever they may be, but like, you deserve better. You deserve the best. So finally, we have your personal, spiritual, and emotional fulfillment. And these cards here, you have unknowing, clarified by the Ace of Cups. And to me, this is extremely positive because the Ace of Cups, if you know anything about tarot, is like one of the most positive cards in the deck. It's like overflowing abundance of love, positive energy. And the unknowing card I find very interesting because I feel like you're looking towards the future. And instead of being terrified of the unknown and like, I don't know what comes next, you're embracing it. You're actually looking forward to spontaneity, not knowing what's coming next. I feel like maybe in the past you're somebody who's very anxious from like unknowns, like you like to have everything planned out, or maybe like sticking to your comfort zone. But I think you're at this time in your life ready to branch out of that comfort zone, and you're like, I'm ready to take what the universe wants to offer me. And because you've opened up to this overflowing love and abundance and positive energy, when you see that unknown, instead of it feeling like scary and like walking forward tentatively, you're moving upwards. You're like, this is amazing. I love every second of this. So I want to say 5 years from now, you are extremely emotionally and spiritually fulfilled, really in alignment with your highest self, doing things for your highest good. I just see such positive high vibes and confidence from you for like this entire reading. Every aspect of your life seems so positive. The only thing that's like kind of sad is like that bittersweetness of moving, like I said, but that's normal. And like I said, as soon as you can move on from that bittersweetness, you turn around and you see, oh wow, there's so much expansion to be had in this new era of my life. There's so much growth to have here. There's so much to explore and do in this new area that I'm living in. So all in all, 5 years from now, I mean, it looks really, really amazing. Like, this is the kind of energy that I'm trying to embody. Like, if I could pick out cards for myself of what I wanted my future to look like, it would probably be along these lines. So look forward to it. Allow yourself to look forward to it. Pat yourself on the back because you are going in the right direction. You are going to reach this abundance on every level. And yeah, keep working on your own, living in your own authenticity, building up your confidence, building up the things that you want to bring into your future, because that work that you lay right now is helping you achieve this future. It's the work that you do right now that is bringing you to this future. So, pile one, that is everything that I have for you. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye. All right, pile two. Sorry, my head has been so frazzled for some reason getting your cards out, and because looking at it, like, it's not very cohesive. Like, there's just so many different colors, there's so many things going on. I think you're the kind of person, at least 5 years from now, because I don't know about you right now, but it seems like you will have a lot going on, a lot on your plate, lots of growth, lots of change, lots of evolution. But like trying to take that in from a tarot reader perspective is like a little overwhelming because there's so many different things going on here. But if you didn't watch the intro, the way that we're going about this is this top row is all about your material world. So we're going to be looking at your personal finances, where you are in your career path, what will your home be like, or like where will you be physically living 5 years from now. And then the bottom row has everything to do with emotions. So what will your close friendship and family relationships be like? What will your romance life be like? And finally, what is your overall spiritual / emotional fulfillment? Like, how personally fulfilled are you? So like I said, we have a lot to get into for you today, but I'm just gonna take off little bite-sized chunks. So starting off with your finances, you have the Magic card clarified by the Page of Pentacles. And for me, for some reason, this makes me think that you are going to be getting like a large influx of money, or larger than you're used to, like a substantial upgrade. Maybe it's like a pay raise, or, you know, I don't want to give you any false hope. I'm just throwing out ideas here, but it could look like a pay raise. It could look like winning the lottery, you know, even if it's just like a small lump sum. You're suddenly coming into more financial abundance than you're used to. And with the Page of Pentacles, it's like you're really expanding your idea of what life can look like now that you have this. And with the Magic card, like I said, it's almost like this expansion feeling of like, what can we do with all this now? And I want to give you a little warning, which this isn't part of the tarot reading, but like, when you come into this influx of money, obviously spend some on yourself, like let yourself have fun, but don't blow it all at once. I feel like a lot of people that suddenly come into a big influx of money are not used to that lifestyle and like what that can mean for them, what that can mean for close relationships, for you emotionally. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Like, just be a little wary. Definitely be excited because it's a great thing to have, but like take things off in bite-sized chunks. Like I just said about me with the tarot reading, it's gonna be a little overwhelming. Even though it's like good emotions overwhelming, I can see like there's so much expansion happening at once. It can overwhelm you really fast, and like it can creep up on you because it's good emotions, but when those good emotions start to overwhelm you, it can become really scary. So look forward to it, but at the same time, bite-sized chunks. Like I said, coming into an influx of a lot of things in general, any kind of thing, even like I said, tarot cards can be really overwhelming. So I'm gonna leave you at that. Look forward to it. It's a good thing, but I'll give you that piece of advice. Now, looking at your career, you have the Rejection card clarified by the Seven of Swords reversed. And to me, the Rejection card to you might look like, uh-oh, what does that mean? But to me, it's a very positive sign that you are rejecting offers from people, whether it's a job offer or an offer to buy your business or to buy your goods or buy your business name or the rights to something. You're rejecting those that would take advantage of you, or B, take things in the wrong direction. And I'm going to throw out an analogy that doesn't necessarily need to be like you, for instance, but just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about here. Imagine somebody who made a small business and it's something that they were really passionate about, like it came from the heart, it was really intertwined with their emotions, like maybe they were doing something for a cause that they really cared about. And it became very successful very fast, and so all of a sudden you have these big investors coming in, flashing all this money at you, and you have to shut them down because you realize, if they were to come in, they'd change everything up, they'd make it really fake, they'd start doing things that you don't stand by, using this thing that you care so much about. And so it's a rejection of letting people take advantage of you. I think that it's a very positive sign that your career is very successful at this time, and it allows you to make those kinds of decisions. I brought this podcaster up in the last reading pile one, but Leo Skepi, I went to go see him in person recently, and one of the things that he talked about during his show was how difficult it is to turn away from offers, especially for like an absurd amount of money, but you have to, because you have to stay true to yourself. Now, I'm not saying you have to, but that was something that he personally had to do, because it's like money is empty, but everything that you have, what your morals are, what you stand by, that's everything that you have. And to turn on that for money, at least for him, he said it was not something that he could ever do. So to turn away from the money he was being offered, what he said felt sickening. But the good thing about it is when you turn away from that offer, the universe presents you with something better, something that is in alignment with what you want. And so I feel like when this success hits, because I feel like this is definitely intertwined with the money aspect, like maybe your business is taking off really fast, something like that. When you are being given these offers and you reject them, don't get in your head about like, oh, that's the only offer I'm ever going to get. That's the only investor that's ever going to want to invest in me. It's not. Trust me. There will be others that come, because where there's one, there's many. Just trust me on that. I really get the sense that it's going to require you rejecting the first few that are not in alignment with your beliefs and your morals, or, if the vibe is off, trust your gut on that. Reject those offers, because good offers will come in. Like, it's not going to be like one and done. That's the only investor. I'm never going to make money off it again. It's not going to be that. Stick by your morals, stick by your gut, and reject things that do not feel right to you. Now, moving on to where you will physically be living, I don't know what age you are, but I get the sense from this reading that you're having a transition from like more of a busy party life, or just a busy, like bouncing around a lot, to a more grounded, stable, like slowing down, like settling your roots in where you're living. Like, maybe, I'll give you an example. Either you're like living in a city, you're like young, you're exploring a lot, you're living in an apartment, and then moving on to purchasing a house, and you're like, this is where I'm going to live for the rest of my life, this is where I'm going to raise my kids, this is where, etc., this is where I'm going to build my life. Or it could look something like you are nomadic, doing like van life, or living in one country for a time, or like a different country, or like moving state to state, and then deciding to find your roots, find a home that you really feel settled into. So 5 years from now, I see you kind of moving on from this like bouncing around, or like having like not having roots, to finding the perfect home for you, the place that you want to set your roots down, and building a home there. Like, I feel like 5 years from now, that's what your focus is on, your home life and like where you want to live. And I don't think it's like an absence of like traveling and exploring. I think you'll still be able to do that, but you're finally cultivating a home base that I feel like you've never really had before. And I don't know, it looks very positive for me. The growth card is very positive. That's what really makes me think like setting your roots down, like building a garden, or like painting the house, like making it your own, like it is your home base. Now, moving on to the bottom row of cards, we have your emotional side of things. So your close family friendships first. I actually got 3 cards for this one. So you have courage, jealousy, and the hermit reversed. To me, when I saw these cards, it immediately made me think having the courage to leave behind a relationship that was not serving you. And it's not because these people, whether it was a friend or maybe a family member, it's not because they're inherently bad, but it's because they are unhealed. They're no longer on the same wavelength as you. If you have evolved, you've healed. Let me give you an example. So this is kind of a dark example, so I'm sorry if this triggers anybody. But imagine if you were an addict and you had a lot of friends that were addicts, and you finally got the courage to heal yourself, to heal your addiction, to move on, to better your life. but you still have these friends, and it's like if you continue to hang around them, you're hanging around that version of you, the past version of you, the version of you that didn't feel good, the version of you that was a slave to your desires, to your addictions, to your vices. It's not that they're bad people, but they are unhealed, and if you continue to stay around them, you're inviting that energy into your life. And so it's like you need to decide to cut them off, not because you hate them, not because you want to hurt them, but for yourself. And I feel like along the same lines, something about the jealousy card just tells me like there is an unhealed person in your life, or at least around that time that you're finally having the courage to walk away from. Maybe it's even like a whole friend group, and it's difficult to walk away from because it's like, that's all I've ever known. This is my social circle. Without them, I'm gonna be on my own. And there are few things in life that feel worse than like loneliness. Like loneliness can cripple a person. But I feel like it's taking a lot of courage from you because you know it's the right thing to do for yourself. You're walking away from something that is no longer serving you. And it's very difficult, but I see in the long run, I feel like personally, when we walk away from things or people that are no longer serving us, we are freeing up room for things that are meant to come into our life. And so when you do this, when you walk away from, whether it's one friend or a group or even a family member, when you put that gap between you and that person, you are freeing up space for people that are on your wavelength, people that are evolved to the same level as you, people that are healed like you. And so it's inviting in a lot of positive things, but it's also a very bittersweet thing. It's a difficult thing to do. It's like closing the book on the chapter of your previous life, you know, because those people are a representation of who you used to be. And it's kind of sad, you know, but it is a very good thing. I think you're doing something really great for yourself 5 years from now. Now, moving on to the romance side of things, you have the gratitude card clarified by the Six of Wands. So what I see here is I don't actually see an actual partner here. Though you definitely could have a romantic partner. But what I see more than anything is being very grateful that you are allowed to stand in your authenticity, that you're allowed to stand in your confidence. Because there are a lot of relationships out there where people will drag their partner down because they're afraid of their partner surpassing them, or their partner outshining them, or feeling insecure in comparison to their partner. And for some reason, I got the saying coming to mind, like two halves of the same whole, but that's not true for you and this person, if you have a partner or if you don't at this time. For you, it's like two whole people standing equally next to each other, not two broken people or two halves of something that need each other. It's like, yes, you have each other, you enjoy each other, but you stand confidently on your own. And for the first time in your life, it almost feels like you have somebody that wants to lift you up, somebody that wants to let you shine, somebody that encourages you to go out your comfort zone, to do bigger, better, bolder things, instead of just trying to keep you held down, trying to keep you on their level, not wanting you to outshine them because they're afraid. So it's a very positive thing. But like I said, I don't necessarily see a specific partner here. But that's just because, I'm only working with two cards here. So there absolutely could be a partner that is actively helping you, or it could have been a previous relationship that taught you a lot and allowed you to stand in this confidence. But whatever it is, I see you being extremely grateful for somebody that you know in a romantic capacity. So could be like I said, maybe a previous relationship, somebody that is just still existing in your life as a very helpful energy. I don't know. But whatever it is, it seems very positive and really pushing you forward to be your best self. Now, finally, with your emotional and spiritual personal fulfillment, it also looks very, very positive. You have the reflection card clarified by the Queen of Pentacles. When I see the Queen of Pentacles, I see a person that has come to a point in their life where they have a lot of the things that they wanted to manifest. Almost like if you made a vision board and you manifested everything off it. Now you have all these great things and you're kind of just sitting and you're overlooking your life and reflecting on everything that you've accomplished and gotten to this point and just feeling very positive about it all. Like you have accomplished everything that you set out to do. I think 5 years from now, you're feeling like you're at the top of the mountain and you're looking around at everything that you've accomplished to get there and you're like, okay, I did it. I did the thing. Now, where's the next chapter? Where's the next mountain to climb? Like, just feeling very positive, taking a moment to rest at the top, really enjoying your accomplishments and everything that you've built up so far, just loving life. But I almost feel like you're on the precipice of the next chapter. Like, what's next for me? Like, yes, I did it. I accomplished the thing. I climbed the mountain. I have gotten through this chapter of my life. I've become successful in these areas of life that I've been trying to be successful at. Now, what's my next purpose? What's the next endeavor that I want to go on? So all in all, like I said, it was a lot to bite off, but I did it in like little installments. It seems like you're living a very positive life. Like I said, you're having a great expansion of money, which I think could be because your career is like hitting a jumping off point. Like things are doing really well there, but still standing in your authenticity and rejecting things that you don't morally agree with or things that don't feel right to you. Really staying true to yourself is very difficult to do in a career, but like you're making it happen. Also, you're having a lot of growth in where you're living, really setting your roots down, kind of transitioning from a more busy, more fluid life to, like I said, setting those roots in, finding your home base. With your friendships and family relationships, moving on from a past version of yourself means letting go of those sometimes. And like I said, it'll be very bittersweet, but you're doing it for you. And it took a lot of courage, but be so grateful to your future self for being able to do this. And then, like I said, with your romantic life, looking very positive, like you have a partner that wants to uplift you, where it's not necessarily them that is the focus of your life at this point, but the effect that they're having on your life. I think that's what I was trying to look for when I was explaining this, is I don't see a partner here because they are not the focus of the romantic life. It's like they are bolstering you and you see the effects, the positive effects that they have on your life. Like, instead of just needing to see them as like an icon here, I see the effect that they have on you. So I really do think that there is a partner that you have at this point in time. But like I said, their effect, the feeling that they give you, is much more important than just their presence in your life. And that's why it's being shown here as like gratitude and confidence. And then finally, all in all, your emotional and spiritual fulfillment, you've reached a peak. Like you are just looking at the rest of your life and like just content, happy, and you're ready for the next challenge. So pile 2, that is everything that I have for you. That was a lot to get through, so please give it a thumbs up, comment if this resonated with you. I love hearing back from people about how the readings helped them or how it resonated, because I just think it's so cool that what I'm doing here can find somebody out there and like, yeah, that's my story. That resonated with me. So yeah, let me know if this resonated with you, and that is everything that I have for you. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye. Okay, pile 3, last but certainly not least. I need to preface this reading by saying that there's a lot of heavy emotion here. I think 5 years from now, which would be what, 2029? I think. 2029/2030/2028. It seems like it's going to be a rough patch for you. And now specifically emotionally, like looking at your finances, everything is balanced. Your career, I think everything is okay. It just seems like there's a lot of unhappiness. There's a lot of, it's the storm before healing happens. So I want you to know that as I go through this, I am channeling all these emotions, and it's very difficult for me, but like I always say, if you're not ready to hear this message, or if you just don't want like a negative message or a sad message or to be stressed out, then maybe don't listen to this, or listen to it at a different time. My job is to give you the 100% honest truth, even if sometimes it's not what you want to hear. But keep in mind, I don't say any of this to scare you. I just want you to know this is what I see in the cards. And if it freaks you out and you don't want to claim it, you don't have to listen to it. But I'm just going to be honest. This is what I'm seeing. And let's go ahead and get into it. So the way that we're doing this is this top row is all about your material world. So how are your finances doing 5 years from now? Where's your career path at? Where will you physically be living? What's your home like? And then the bottom row is all about emotional things. So like, what are your friendship/family relationships like? How is your romantic life? And what is your personal, emotional/spiritual fulfillment at this time? Now, I want you to know, it seems like this time, like I said, 2029, 5 years from now, it seems like, well, 5 years from whenever you're watching this. It doesn't technically need to be during that time. That's just the time, 5 years from when I'm filming this. But 5 years from when you're watching this, it seems like it's going to be a rough year. But I want you to know that there's a lot of courage within you that I'm seeing, that you know that it's a storm that just needs to pass. Like, it seems like this time specifically is going to be rough for you, but financially, it seems like the finances, first of all, are looking great. So it seems like no matter what, you are going to be taken care of. The universe is looking out for you. And it's not like I'm seeing disaster after disaster happen. It's like, it's more emotional. So if you're worried about like physical security, physically you are taken care of, but your inner emotional world, it seems like there is going to be quite a bit of turmoil, which I just want to preface this by saying that, like, don't be worried that like your house is gonna burn down or like crazy stuff like that is gonna go down. It's mainly emotional, internal turmoil that I see that you're going through. So starting off with finances, like I said, this is one of the most positive parts of it. You have the balance card clarified by the Five of Pentacles reversed. Now, the Five of Pentacles, when it's upright, I like to call it like the stuck out in the cold card, the card where you've been abandoned or you've gone through poverty. When you look at these people, they're injured, they look like they might even be homeless, they're out in the snow on a cold night. But with it reversed, I feel like you are somebody who has experienced that, or come close to experience that, or you've just gone through a financial winter. And because you've experienced that scarcity, you are now putting in a lot of effort into making sure that you are financially taken care of. Whether that looks like saving, whether that looks like staying in a certain job, even if it's not what you're passionate about, even if you don't love it, but because you want to build up those savings, you want to have that cushion to fall back on. And with the balance card, I see that you are making enough money that you are taking care of everything that you need to take care of is taken care of, and you still have a little bit extra to put away towards savings. You have a little bit extra to like have some fun with. Like, it doesn't seem like you're living paycheck to paycheck. It seems like you've definitely got that extra cushion on top of things and you are financially taken care of. So I want to get any financial stress out of your mind, because it looks like at least 5 years from now, you are not dealing with that financial winter. Now, when I look at your career, you have the Sadness card clarified by Temperance reversed. Like I kind of hinted at, I don't know if this is going to be exactly your situation. Keep in mind, it's a general reading, so it's different for all of you that were drawn to this reading. But it almost makes me think like you're in a job that makes you money, but you're not necessarily happy about it. So when I look at your career path, it's almost like for instance, I brought him up in every single reading so far, but this guy, Leo Skeppy, he's a podcaster. I bring him up a lot because he's very emotionally intelligent. I learn a lot from him. But something that he talks about pretty often is before he blew up and became famous and like did the podcasting thing, he was a nurse. And he really did not like nursing, but it was like, it's his fallback. It's what made him money. It's what allowed him to pursue this. It gave him that safety security net. And so if I'm imagining I'm imagining you're in your safety security net. You have the money, you're taken care of, but in a spiritual, emotional sense, you're not fulfilled by your career at this time. But the career is doing what it needs to do. You know, there's a lot of people out there that do not enjoy their job. And when I tell you this, I'm not telling you that you can never make a change. But at this current point in your life, I think that you are more valuing the security and the financial abundance that it gives you before you're going to actually go after what you like. Because back to the Leo Skeppy analogy, once he had built up enough safety with his job, he was then able to pursue what he loved to do, you know, helping others, counseling others, getting his voice out there, doing the podcast thing. And so for you, it's like you're 5 years from now, it seems like you're in that point where you're doing the job you don't really like, but it's all about just waiting until it's time for you to branch out, until you have enough of that safety net. Now, looking at where you'll physically be living, you know, what your home will be like, you have Magic clarified by the Seven of Swords. Sorry, I had to take like a quick pause because I was like, What do you mean magic clarified by the Seven of Swords? That doesn't make any sense for like a home. But I really just sat and stared at it for a second, and I think I understand. So what I see among all this turmoil and craziness in your reading is your home is the home base that you can come back to and feel recharged, feel rejuvenated, feel like that magic blossom, if that even makes sense. And when I look at the Seven of Swords, I'm almost imagining somebody who's like just filling their home up with things that they love, things that make them feel comfortable. Like me personally, I'm somebody that I only like to have things in my room that make me feel comfortable, that have a use, things that I actually enjoy. And I feel like you're somebody that's like, God, there's a specific animal that I'm thinking of. I can't remember it, but it's like the kind of animal that just like brings things back to their home. Like a crow, brings back trinkets that like make it happy. Or like pigs will collect flowers to like spruce up their den. I don't know what pigs live in. I don't know what it's called. But it's like that kind of thing where it's like even if everything around you is crazy, your home is your safe place. And it's like filling it up with things that you love, filling it up with things that make you happy. Just really I see you putting a lot of effort into making your house a home, making the place that you live comfortable and happy for you. It could also be a sign of like moving somewhere new or moving into your own place that you get to fill it up with all these new things or all these things that you like, where it's like it's on your terms because it's your place. But if you already have your own place, it's more of just like putting more effort into sprucing it up, making yourself happier, filling it up with things that you love. Now, moving on to the bottom row, this is the emotional side of things. This is the part that I said like things are looking a little rough, and I don't know if it's all tied in together. And what I mean by that is when I look at this area, this is like your friends and close family relationships, what's going on with that 5 years from now. You have the gloom card clarified by the Queen of Swords. And to me, it almost, in my mind, looks like you being this gloom card, being sad, crying over something, and then somebody consoling you with logic. The Queen of Swords is a very logical person. She is somebody that is like head over heart. And so if I was to put these cards together, it almost looks to me like your friends giving you advice, your friends speaking to you and like trying to give you the whole picture on something that's really upsetting you. And the thing that I think will be most upsetting you is when I look at your romantic cards, you have the stress card clarified by the Five of Swords reversed. And the Five of Swords reversed the Five of Swords in general usually talks about like a battle or like arguments or fights. And when it's upright, it's the way that I was taught this card is like the fight is over and somebody is victorious, but the clouds overhead are still stormy. Like it's a sign that the fight is not yet over. And so to me, it's like a recurring fight, a fight that never ends. But with your card reversed, it's like you're getting to a point where you just want to give up. You want to throw in the towel. You're done with the continuous fighting. And with the stress card, excuse me, it really makes me think that, I don't know if you're in a relationship right now, but when you're at this point in your life, it seems like you are, and that relationship is really on the rocks. Now, I'm not saying that you two are going to break up or, if you're in a relationship, but it does look like things are getting very, very rocky and almost teetering on that point of, I actually want to recommend a podcast to you, which if you're not in a relationship right now, you're like, okay, well, I don't need it. But maybe in the future, if this, I hope not, but if this comes to fruition and you're in that relationship and you don't want to give up on it, but you're just so tired and stressed, I want to recommend to you a podcast it used to be called Divine Authenticity, but now it's called The Cozy Babes Club by Chloe Taylor. She is a tarot YouTuber on here as well. I love her tarot readings, but she's also a podcaster. I love her podcast. And in her podcast, she talks about, her husband and her have been together since they were like 15. So it's like a 15-year-long relationship or longer. And they're each other's best friends, but they went through such a rough patch, and she really goes in detail about it, where there's a specific episode, you'll have to look back at it. It was like helping your husband's masculinity, it was titled something along those lines. And she really talks about how they got to a point where the word divorce was being thrown out there. And not to scare the other person, but like as a legitimate answer to what was going on. And I feel really called to tell you about that because hearing her story, hearing other stories like that and how they got out of it, like they did not get divorced, they ended up fixing things. I feel like that could make you feel really inspired, make you feel like, okay, just because this is looking really dire, if I really want to stay with this person, if I really care about this person, I want to make this work, what do we need to do to make it work? So that's why I encourage you, maybe 5 years from now, if you're in this, you'll be remembering this reading, you'll be like, what did they recommend? I highly encourage you. Her name is Chloe Taylor. Her podcast is on Spotify. It's called the Cozy Babes Club. I don't know if she's going to rebrand it again, but Chloe Taylor with a K. That's what I see, because I see, and I really think that these two are intertwined, your close family friendships, as well as your relationship, because this stress and this fighting and this almost wanting to give up, I feel like that's what you're being consoled about. That's what you're being given advice by friends and like close family members, is this issue. I feel like these two are very closely intertwined. And then, so like I said, the final cards that we have here are your overall personal, emotional, and spiritual fulfillment. And you have the Courage card clarified by Judgment. I feel like you are somebody who, you really say everything happens for a reason to yourself, and you truly believe it. In this year, even though this is like a period of like emotional winter, like a period of like heavy emotions, unhappiness, like things seem to just not be doing well, you truly believe that not everything happens for a reason, but things ebb and they flow. Things go up and they go down. And this is a period of down, but you have faith that you will overcome them. You have faith that this is all happening to better you, to help you evolve, to help you grow, to help you learn and move forward towards your highest good. Even though it looks terrible, it's like you know how to zoom out and see the big picture and see, yes, this sucks, but this is not the direction that everything is going to go forever. Things will turn around. And so when I see the Courage card and the Judgment card, you have the courage to go through this, even when you're crying and even when you're in pain, even when things suck or they seem really gloomy and you're not sure the way forward. You still have courage and belief that you are being watched over and that things will happen in the way that they are meant to. And so even what I'm trying to get at here is, even when things are not looking well emotionally, you are still spiritually and emotionally fulfilled because you know that there's a path for you. Now, I don't know what your personal beliefs are, your spiritual or religious beliefs, whatever religion you subscribe to, but whatever it is, I feel like you have a lot of faith that everything is happening the way that it is meant to. And the Judgment card is that kind of like fate is at play, like a judgment moment, like things will happen the way that they're meant to. And so all in all, what I see for you is 5 years from whenever you're watching this, it looks like it's going to be an emotionally turbulent time. But like I said, financially, you are being taken care of. You have money to fall back on. So physically, you are taken care of. The biggest thing that is at play here is your emotional turmoil. So at least be thankful that like you don't have that added stress of like, how am I going to make ends meet? Like ends are being met for you. You are being taken care of. Your career, I don't see you being the happiest in it, but it is taking care of you and it is not forever. I think that you are going to make it out of this career. You are going to find something that makes you happier. But when, 5 years from now, it does seem like you are in that kind of moment where it's just like, we're making ends meet. Yeah, this thing sucks. Yeah, I'm unhappy with my boss. Yeah, I'm unhappy with the situation, but it's not forever. Your home life, it seems like your home is your rock. Just like your finances are being taken care of, your home is like your shield. It's the place that you come back to, that you fill with love, you fill with things that make you happy, and it really rejuvenates you. It makes you forget the outside world because it's like a cocoon that keeps you safe. And it seems like your friends are, at this time, they're really there for you, trying to help you with advice, taking care of you because of whatever's going on in your romantic life. But just know that I don't see a concrete breakup happening for you here. I see it's a very rough patch, but like I said, I recommend you that podcast because her and her husband came to a point where they were on the rocks so badly they almost gave up. But they didn't. They still found a way out. And I want that to be... I forget the word. I want that to be inspiration for you to know that no matter how rocky things seem, no matter how beyond repair things seem, if you really want to make it work and you want to fix things, there is a way to fix it. As long as you have that desire to pull through, there is still the possibility of pulling through. And finally, I see for you, even amongst all this turmoil and this hurricane that's going on in your life, you still have a lot of faith in your guides. I feel like at this time, you're going to feel very protected, feel very secure spiritually, like you are being watched over, even throughout all this. It's like you recognize a hurricane had to come through. You recognize a wildfire has to happen in order to clear things away so that fresh growth can come up. It's just another one of the seasons of life. And it happens to be a down one, but you know it's not forever. And so, pile 3, I know that was a rough one, but that is everything that I have for you. I really hope that you don't shy away from the future because, like I just said, we all go through these different seasons of life, and this one is going to pass just like all the other ones. So don't be afraid of it. But yeah, that is everything that I have for you. I really hope that this reading helped you and found you when you need the most. But thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.